Welcome back to the deep dive where we, help you sift through all that information overload and get to the good stuff. And today we're going to be diving into Onward, how Starbucks fought for its life without losing its soul.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a really incredible story about a company that, was facing a serious crisis and they had to like claw their way back to success.
Yeah,
And they did it all while like holding on to their, core values, which I think is really impressive.
totally. And I think this deep dive is going to be especially relevant to our listeners who are, on the MBA track or thinking about going that route.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like a master class in navigating the business world.
Yeah,
All the ups and downs.
for sure.
So, like, picture this. It's 2007.
Okay.
Starbucks, the coffee giant everywhere you look, there's a Starbucks. They're like at a crossroads. They had grown so fast.
Yeah, crazy fast.
But it felt like some of that like initial magic was fading, that like Starbucks experience that everyone loved.
Right.
What do you think happened there?
Well, you see, it's like this classic thing that happens when companies expand super quickly. Their brand identity, it kind of gets diluted.
I see.
It's a real challenge to maintain that initial spark and that unique culture as you grow bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's like they were struggling to balance that massive scale with that, personal touch that they were known for.
Exactly. And that was starting to cause some problems.
Like what kind of problems?
Well, people were starting to feel like Starbucks had become too corporate.
Oh, yeah, too focused on just profits and stuff.
Right. And maybe even a little bit, soulless.
Yeah, I can see
The
that.
quality wasn't always there. The personal touch was fading. And that whole third place feeling,
That community vibe.
yeah, that was eroding.
So that's where Howard Schultz comes in, right?
Yeah.
He comes back as CEO in 2008, and reading the book, you can like really feel the weight on his shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than just a job for him, it's personal. He's on this mission to like revitalize the soul of Starbucks. And what I thought was so fascinating was his approach. It wasn't just about, crunching numbers and all that.
Right.
It was about reigniting the passion, the purpose,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. He understood that to really bring Starbucks back, he needed to reconnect with the employees, the customers, and most importantly, those core values that made the company special in the first place.
Yeah, it wasn't just about fixing like operational stuff. This was a leadership challenge.
It was a huge leadership challenge.
He needed vision, and he needed to understand how to like connect with people on an emotional level.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And let me tell you, he made some bold moves like closing thousands of stores for retraining.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's huge, especially for a company that big.
I mean, that's a massive undertaking. What was the thinking behind that?
I know, right?
Uh-huh.
Like a powerful statement.
Hmm.
By shutting down temporarily, he was showing everyone that he was serious about quality and the customer experience.
Like a short-term hit for a long-term gain.
Exactly. But it wasn't just about like teaching people how to make coffee better.
Right.
It was about reminding the employees why they loved coffee in the first place.
Bringing back that passion and craftsmanship.
You're right. It
Yeah.
makes total sense. It wasn't about cutting costs. It was an investment in the heart of Starbucks.
Absolutely.
But closing stores was just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How did they tackle re-engaging with customers in a meaningful way?
Well, Schultz, he understood that technology could be a really powerful tool for connection, not just for efficiency.
Yeah, like the Starbucks mobile app and that rewards program.
What do you think about those?
I love the app. Are you kidding?
Uh-huh.
I'm all about ordering ahead and skipping the line.
Makes you feel like a VIP.
Totally. It's personalized,
Mhm.
it's convenient, and it definitely makes my experience better. But was that always the plan?
Interesting question.
Like to use technology to actually get closer to customers?
I think that's what's so brilliant about their strategy.
Right.
They didn't let technology depersonalize the experience. Right.
They used it to make those human interactions even better.
I see that.
The app streamlines things, gives you more control, and it frees up the baristas to, focus on that personal touch.
That genuine connection.
Exactly.
It's like they took something that could have felt cold and impersonal technology and made it warm and inviting.
They really did.
But technology wasn't the whole solution. They had to dig deeper, right?
Absolutely. They needed to recapture that third place magic.
Right, that feeling of community.
Remember Starbucks?
Yeah.
They wanted to be more than just a coffee shop. They wanted to be a haven, a community hub where people could connect and relax and feel like they belonged.
That sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And there's a story in the book that I remember that really brought this to life.
Oh, tell me about it.
It was about this barista who knew a regular customer was going through a tough time.
Ah,
So she surprised him with his favorite drink and a handwritten note of encouragement.
that's so sweet.
I know, right? And it just shows the impact that those small human gestures can have. It's those genuine connections, those acts of empathy that really set a brand apart.
Yeah, and it reminds us that even in a company as big as Starbucks, those little interactions are so powerful.
They really are.
They shape the whole customer experience and build loyalty.
For sure. And it all comes back to company culture.
It's not just a buzzword.
It's the foundation.
It's how employees interact with customers and ultimately how customers perceive the brand.
You got it. Company culture is the heart and soul of any successful business.
So before we get into all the details of the turnaround strategy,
Okay.
I want to pause for a second and bring you, the listener, into the conversation.
I like it.
What for you is the most striking takeaway from Onward so far?
Good question.
What's resonating with you, and how could you apply these insights to your own work or personal life?
It's something to really think about.
Yeah.
Because this story, it goes way beyond just the world of coffee.
It does.
It's about finding that balance between ambition and soul in anything you do.
That's a great point while you're thinking about that. I'll share what really hit home for me.
Okay.
It's the realization that even these wildly successful companies, they can stumble,
Yeah.
but it's never too late to get back on track.
Never too late.
It takes courage to change, to innovate, and to stay connected to what truly matters.
I love that.
And I'd add to that the power of leadership
Yes.
when it combines vision with emotional intelligence.
It's magic.
Schultz's passion for Starbucks was contagious, and it played a huge role in the company's turnaround.
It really did. And I think that applies to any leadership role, not just in business.
Totally.
It's that human element that often gets overlooked when people are just focused on growth and efficiency. And it's a good reminder that we're all human, rights.
Yeah, even in the crazy world of business.
Exactly. And that human connection, it was so important to Schultz's turnaround strategy.
Yeah, he really focused on that.
He knew that happy, engaged employees, they're the key to having happy, loyal customers.
And he didn't just talk about it. He took action. Starbucks invested a ton in employee training benefits. They even created ways for employees to share ideas and feedback.
That's awesome.
It wasn't just about checking boxes. It was about making people feel like they were a part of something.
Yeah, like they had ownership and they could be proud.
Exactly. Schultz recognized that those baristas on the front lines, they were more than just employees.
They were the face of Starbucks.
Right. They were brand ambassadors.
Their passion for coffee,
Yeah.
their knowledge, their ability to connect with customers, it was all essential to that authentic Starbucks experience.
It's true. And I remember there's this passage in Onward where Schultz talks about wanting every barista to be an ambassador for the brand.
It's such a powerful concept.
Yeah.
It's about creating a workplace where people feel valued and heard and motivated to go above and beyond.
To really care.
It's not just a job, it's a purpose.
And that translates directly to the customer experience.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. When you walk into a Starbucks and the person behind the counter is genuinely excited and knowledgeable, it changes everything. It makes the whole experience better.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Totally.
Engaged employees make for satisfied customers, and then those happy customers come back and create this awesome energy.
It's a good cycle.
But employee empowerment was just one part of the turnaround, right?
There was a lot more to it.
They had to adapt to the market, keep innovating.
Right, because the world of coffee was changing.
Exactly. Schultz, he was really good at seeing those shifts in consumer behavior and market trends. He knew Starbucks couldn't just stay the same. They had to evolve to stay relevant.
Keep up with the times.
Exactly. And that meant new drinks, experimenting with food, even venturing into new areas like music and entertainment.
Oh, yeah, like that Hear Music thing.
What did you think of that?
Selling CDs in Starbucks, it was a bold move.
It was.
It's like they were trying to create this whole sensory experience for the customer.
It might seem normal now, but back then it was pretty innovative.
It was, and it shows how Schultz was a real visionary leader. He didn't want Starbucks to be just a coffee company. He wanted it to be a cultural hub.
A place where people could discover new things.
Yeah, and connect with their passions.
They were always pushing the boundaries, trying to figure out what customers would want next.
It sounds like a constant process of learning, adapting, refining.
It was, and they weren't afraid to experiment, take risks, you know?
Push the limits of what a coffee company could be.
That's so important for any business, really, especially in a fast-paced industry.
Yeah, you can't just rely on past successes.
You got to be agile, innovative, always looking for ways to improve.
Onward is a great example of how a company can embrace change, but still stay true to its roots.
Yeah, it's finding that balance between tradition and innovation.
And it's about knowing when something's not working and having the courage to make big changes.
Sometimes you got to shake things up.
Schultz, he wasn't afraid to admit mistakes, to learn from them, to ask for help when he needed it.
That's a sign of a good leader.
In the book, he talks about swallowing his pride and reaching out to people who can help turn things around.
It's a powerful lesson in humility and the importance of teamwork.
Because no leader has all the answers.
It's true.
It's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses and building a team with people who can fill in the gaps.
A team of rock stars.
And the Starbucks turnaround, it shows what can happen when everyone works together. It wasn't just Schultz's vision. It was the combined efforts of thousands of employees who believed in the company.
They all played a part.
They brought the brand back to life.
It all goes back to creating that culture where people feel valued and empowered.
Where they feel inspired to do their best.
So inspiring.
It's a story that goes beyond coffee.
It does.
It's about leadership resilience and the power of human connection.
But what does it all mean for our listeners?
Yeah, why should someone who's not in the coffee business or even in business at all care about Starbucks' journey?
That's a great question.
What makes this story relevant to them?
Because it's a blueprint for success in anything you do.
Really?
It's about having a clear vision, building a strong culture, embracing innovation.
I see that.
It's about understanding that even when things are tough, there's always a way forward.
To find your purpose again.
And to achieve great things.
It's a story of hope, resilience, and the power of human connection.
It really is.
And it reminds us that the best companies,
the ones that last,
they're built on more than just profits.
It's about creating something that matters, something that people connect with on a deeper level.
Yeah, something with meaning. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Onward, I'm thinking about the impact of this story. It happened like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Are these lessons still relevant today in the business world?
Oh, absolutely. The core principles that drove Starbucks' comeback, they're timeless.
Okay.
Strong leadership, that commitment to core values, being willing to adapt and innovate.
Yeah.
Those are essential for success no matter what year it is.
Yeah. Reading Onward really got me thinking about my own career path.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of the big picture,
I know what you mean.
This story, it reminded me to take a step back and ask myself, what are my core values? What am I really passionate about?
Yeah.
Am I living and working in a way that aligns with those values?
That's such a good point. And it reminds me that this book, it's more than just a business case study.
Right.
It's a call to action. It's telling us to live and work with purpose. Find that balance between ambition and soul and always strive for something more.
To keep growing.
Exactly.
It's an invitation to lead with your head and your heart.
I love that.
And that applies whether you're leading a company, a team, or just navigating your own life.
It's about those core principles.
Yeah. Onward reminds us that we all have the potential to make a difference.
To leave our mark.
To create something lasting that reflects our values and passions.
And to do it with integrity. Yeah.
With courage and a real understanding of what it means to be human.
Couldn't said it better myself.
So as you move forward in your own journey, I want you to think about the lessons we talked about today. What are your non-negotiables? Those values you won't compromise on.
Yeah.
What really lights you up inside?
What are you passionate about?
And how can you bring more of that soul into your work and your life?
It's about finding that spark.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into Onward.
It really has.
It's full of wisdom and inspiration for anyone who wants to make a positive impact.
If this conversation resonated with you, I highly recommend picking up a copy of Onward yourself.
Yes, there's so much more to explore in there.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to the deep dive for more insightful content just like this.
We're exploring a new topic every week to help you cut through all the noise and find those golden nuggets of knowledge.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for bonus content, behind-the-scenes stuff, and more.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep seeking out those insights that spark your curiosity and fuel your journey.